If you've been following the past few videos that this channel has put out, you'll notice that I've done unboxing videos for boards featuring the X570 and B550 chipsets from AMD. As of December 2020, these chipsets represent the high-end and mid-range respectively in terms of AMD's current chipset lineup for its AM4 platform. It's only natural then that we should take a look at AMD's answer for an entry-level AM4 chipset, the A520. Positioned as a replacement for the previous generation A320 chipset, let's have a look at the Gigabyte motherboard sporting the A520, specifically the A520M S2H. Now, would the S2H represent good value, especially with its support for AMD's much vaunted Ryzen 5000 series of processors? Well, there's only one way to find out. Now, the board that I have on hand for this video was kindly loaned to me by my friends over at Mansa Computers. Do check them out if you're on the lookout for a custom-built PC solution in Singapore. Their details are in the video description down below. First things first, let's have a look at the A520 specifications, especially with regard to the key differences with its elder siblings, the B550 and the X570. As you can see from this table, the A520 does not have support for the latest PCIe 4.0 standard at all, which could prove to be quite a big downside, especially when it comes to future-proofing. On top of that, you do also lose official overclocking support, as well as multi-graphics card support. Then again, the lack of these features shouldn't really come as a surprise at all, seeing as the A520 is after all an entry-level chipset. With that, some quick observations on the packaging for the Gigabyte A520M S2H. One word sums it all up: unremarkable, given that this is literally the entry level for a modern AM4 motherboard. As of December 2020, the A520M S2H can be had for around 119 Singapore dollars or $69 US for you international folks of, say, Newegg for instance. Moving over to the rear of the box, it's great to note that this board supports Q-Flash as standard, which allows you to update the BIOS without needing to install a processor and/or RAM. The Q-Flash feature is definitely going to come in handy, especially if you're intending to use a Ryzen 5000 processor with this board, seeing as it's very likely that it did not ship with a BIOS that has Ryzen 5000 support right out of the box. Now, for those of you folks who caught my B550M DS3H video, you'll notice that this board too comes with 8118 gaming LAN. Again, another box standard Realtek Gigabit Ethernet part. Nothing too fancy there. Another similarity with the B550M DS3H that I reviewed previously, now due to chipset limitations, this board does not have official support for the Ryzen 3 3200G and the Ryzen 5 3400G, though again, I have seen reports online of folks who have managed to use these chips with their A520 boards, so all in all, your mileage may vary. Onto the contents of the box, bearing in mind that this is the entry level, you get two SATA cables, the I/O shield, and of course, the board itself. If you were to remove the divider, you get a condensed version of the manual as well as a driver CD. With that, let's have a tour of the board itself. I have to say, having reviewed a X570 and B550 offering from Gigabyte, the A520M S2H is very light, and for good reason, seeing as it doesn't come with any heatsinks for the VRMs at all. Aesthetics wise, it has a very similar appearance to the B550M DS3H, which I reviewed in my previous video, with these geometric patterns splashed across the PCB. You'll also notice that cost-cutting measures are quite evident here to keep costs low. Even the chipset heatsink here is a nondescript unbranded one without the Gigabyte logo on it. Well, as long as it gets the job done, I suppose. The S2H comes with two DDR4 slots with support for up to 64GB of RAM. Do note that Gigabyte also offers a DS3H variant of the A520M with 4 RAM slots instead of 2, and the last I checked, both boards had very similar if not the same prices. So do bear that in mind if you're on the lookout for a Gigabyte A520M board, and memory expansion is a key factor in influencing your purchase decision. In terms of storage interfaces, the S2H comes with 4 SATA 3 ports and a single M2 slot supporting either the PCIe 3.0 X4 standard or a M2 SATA drive. In the expansion slots department, it comes with a single PCIe 3.0 X16 slot and 2 PCIe 3.0 X1 slots. Naturally, the slots are made of plastic with none of that ultra-durable PCIe armor that Gigabyte includes on its higher-end boards. The board's audio is powered by the Realtek ALKA870 chip, which is located right here, and is commonly found on low-end to mid-range motherboards. Now, the Realtek 8118 LAN chip, which I spoke of earlier, is positioned right here. As you'll have surmised by now, the A520M S2H does not come with built-in aesthetic LEDs of any sort. You do, however, get two RGB headers, with one supporting addressable RGB and the other being your standard 12V RGB connector. In terms of fan support, you get your standard CPU fan header right here, and this is topped off by two case fan headers, one located right here and the other at the bottom right here. To round up, let's have a look at the I/O ports that the S2H comes with. We get the venerable PS2 port alongside two USB 2.0 connectors, a trio of display connectors, VGA, DVI, and a HDMI 2.1 port, 4 USB 3.2 Gen 1 Type A ports with this particular port in white supporting the Q-Flash functionality. Of course, you get the Q-Flash button next to it, your standard Ethernet port, as well as audio connectors. So there you have it, the Gigabyte A520M S2H. At $69 it is one of the cheapest AM4 motherboards that one can get brand new as of December 2020. But the big question is it worth your time and dollars? Sure, you do get support for the latest Zen 3 processors from AMD, but at the expense of not getting access to the PCIe 4.0 standard. In my honest opinion, if you can spare the extra $20 or so, do yourself a favor and get a board powered by a B550 chipset at the very least, as it will future-proof your PC build. The only other scenario that I can think of using this board in would probably be for a low-end PC that I'd build and perhaps forget about. You know, it's probably going to be like a simple internet surfing and office productivity machine, which the S2H would definitely be more than adequate for. With that, thank you so much for watching, do like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you guys around the next time.